Alright, what is up everybody? Back today with another video on the channel. Got another knife review to do here today. We got a pretty sweet one to check out, obviously a Medford. This is my second Medford. I've actually already got a third. I sold like 6 to 8 old knives and bought these two Medfords. Just stuff I got, some spider codes and benchmades I had from when I first really got into knives that I had modified, and they were worth a little bit, so I offloaded those. And that's kind of the stage I've been in. I'm just feeling like, selling my older stuff, and I'm kind of at the point where if it doesn't interest me, and if I don't pick it up, I'm like, man, this is really cool, this is different, I just don't find myself wanting to carry it anymore. So that being said, I'm trying to find higher end knives that work with being a lefty and being EDC. But anyways, let's get into this thing. I've got a slim midi here, arguably the most EDCable Medford. And here's the build. So it's a slim midi. That's S35 VN steel, tumbled Tonto finish on the blade. The show side scale has been faced, bronze anodized, and custom flamed. The spring side and or the lock bar side, they call it the spring side, is bronze anodized. The hardware and clip are both flame anodized. I picked this one up from DLT Trading. So there's the box. Got a lot of packaging here. Here's the case. Everybody knows. Your dog tags, and then get y'all on your normal Medford stuff, patch, stickers, warranty card, COA, all that good stuff. This knife was produced last month. It's currently May 20-something. This was made last month, so brand new. And I've got really into Medfords lately, and I've been watching some videos of Greg and whatnot, and just seeing kind of their process and their workshop. And he pretty much runs a high production custom shop. Is kind of how his shop, in my opinion, has been set up. But I really feel like he, from what I've seen, he's trying to change that and get into more higher and higher production slowly. One thing I will say about Medfords, you can generally find them, especially the common models like your full-size Praetorian T. These slim midis are getting popular. They come kind of in and out of stock. I'm looking into a Marauder H, so like the full-size Marauder. Then there's the original Marauder, which is thicker than the H, but they're the same size lengthwise, blade length and all that. So this is the Slim Midi Marauder, and you can see that faced show side here. I'm not sure what their process is, but you can see normal anodized side, faced side. It's got pretty much a mirror finish in it before the anodization. Then the custom, heat anodizing there. They do a lot of cool stuff. Greg really lets his craftsmen kind of do their thing with it, and they make beautiful knives. Check out this Tonto blade. So, funny story, I don't own any Tontos except these two Medfords, the Praetorian T and my Slim Midi. Legitimately the only two Tontos. I take that back. I always forget about this guy, man. The old Small and Cozy left-handed is a Tonto. So I take that back. That's my first true high-end knife. But yeah, that knife's super smooth now. And the thing about these Medfords, when I first got this Praetorian T, it was a lot like this infraction is. See, now the Praetorian almost drop shutty versus this infraction, which I just got yesterday, has pretty much no fall. You got to sling it shut. Can't really, you can't flick it without wrist. And how stiff this thing was is better than this Praetorian T started out as. So the amount of break-in these knives go through is kind of unreal. They really, really break in well. So if you think your knife's a little too stiff, if you think it should be smoother, I promise you it will be. You just got to put a little work into it. And if you don't want to put any work into it, if you want a bearing knife that's drop shot out of the box, I can understand that. There's nothing wrong. If that's what you like, that's what you like. Me personally, I like kind of going through the process, breaking the knife in myself. I like to break it in, then disassemble, clean, and reassemble it how I like it. That's kind of my process. The slim midi here, you got right at a little over 8 inches overall, a little over a 3-inch blade. I think it's 3 1/4. You've got this kind of cutout here on the show side. Now, on your lock bar side, you do have a little cutout there to get your thumb into, but it is pretty much even, and that's probably my only complaint on the knife. I'll kind of start with that. Getting into it to access your lock bar is a little difficult. The first few days I had it at, wore a little bit of a blister on my thumb, even on top of my calluses. But, now that I've broken in for a few days and whatnot, seems to be breaking in well, and it's not really an issue anymore. But something to think about. My fix for it was being a man. Would highly recommend. Then the flamed pivot hardware. Now this is running T30 pivot. And you're thinking T30, that's wild, but your $20 Weehaw kit, which most knife guys have, your biggest bit is a T30. Now this one where they flamed it, I don't know if it messed with the size a little bit. It's not the T30. Where's the T30? Oh, here's the T30. I want the T30. This is the T30. But it's a little bit of a tight fit. You gotta kind of push it in, and it sticks in there. But now the Infraction has the same hardware, and the T30 clicks in really well. So I don't know if that's where they flamed it or just tolerances are slightly off. Either way, not a big deal, as it doesn't really leave any marks inside of it. So this is a bearing knife, one of very few done by Medford. Generally, their bronze washers, like the Praetorian T, is this smooth on washers. This one you can thumb flick. Well, if I can do it right. There you go. Reverse flick. So super duper smooth on washers. Now that took a lot of break in. But here is just a few days of break in on bearings. We're almost drop shut. I mean, we will be drop shut. I promise you that. So thinking of a drop shut Medford, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. And I really think they're bridging the gap with this slim midi to a lot of the people that don't like your original Medford, They don't like that thick slab of titanium, even though they do really good hollow grinds to get that blade edge down. This is a different knife, and in fact, I was trying to decide between the Infraction and this slim midi, and I did this slim midi. I got it, and I was like, man, I love this knife. It's beautiful. It functions flawlessly. But it just doesn't give me that, it didn't scratch that Medford itch I was really looking for. So I ended up selling a few more knives and picking up the Infraction, which I'll do a video on soon. And these are both very similar size knives. You can see they're actually almost the exact same size. In fact, the Infraction is a tiny bit longer, but two completely different knives. But like I said, this knife's been very popular for them, and most people that deal with it, that didn't like Medfords before, really enjoy this knife. I really enjoy this knife. It's done very well. I absolutely love this Tonto, and on my full-size Marauder, when I do end up picking it up, I'm trying to decide if I want to match it to these, because Medford's PVD coating, if you're not familiar, is super thick and it's super durable and it looks really good. But the grind lines on this Tonto blade are just, they look so good. So that Tonto, this knife's really a looker. It's meant to be carried, but for me, it's going to be a looker. just for the price. Pocket clip here, Greg says he wants it at credit card height. So it is not touching the scale. There's a little bit of room. You can hear it there. Now, it slides into your pocket very well, very smoothly. But for me personally, in shorts and a lot of my pants, it did not, or not pants, but just shorts, basketball shorts, khaki, whatever shorts, wasn't super tight. So at work, on a forklift and stuff, in different machinery throughout the day, getting in, sitting down, standing up, I really wouldn't feel comfortable with this in my pocket. Now, if I had pants, the work pants I wear, I would be all right with that. But in shorts, I just don't trust it. So on the scale side here, you can see we got the flame clip. You do get a lock bar stabilizer here, which has been flamed, and then the back side of that pivot. And I'm really digging the new pivot hardware with this T30. Makes it a lot easier. I disassembled this knife, cleaned it, and re-lubed it with some KPL. I'll show you what I used. I started using grease, Chris Reeve grease in my bronze washer knives. And my bearings knives, I was using this high performance precision oil. It's a gun oil, obviously, but it's not like rim oil. It's not a cleaner. It's specifically an oil. But I've been using that a lot, and it worked fine. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, I'll spend this money on these knives. So I just got some KPL, and damn, was I impressed. I didn't realize how well a dedicated knife pivot lube would work on bearings and stuff. And on bronze washers, I've yet to do a bronze washer knife. I'm probably doing here in a bit. But we'll see. We'll see how well, because it's definitely better on bearings. If it's better on bronze washers, I'll be ecstatic, and I'll definitely be sold. But you can see the action here. Just a few shakes to get it in. Pretty smooth there. Now deployment, the detent is very, very nice. Your only deployment options are the finger choil cut out there. Not finger choil, I'm sorry. That is your only option. So the reverse flick, it's like they made this knife to reverse flick. I'm not kidding. Now left-handed on a frame lock knife, I normally try to get on the clip here. On the clip and give it a good flick. Left-handed is super smooth. Now see, left-handed, I'm pushing into the detent, so I get a little bit more retention in the left hand than I do the right hand. And I've noticed that on other knives as well. That's kind of a lefty thing. But the detent really is set up nice. And I like the Medfords, they have the hole there so you can adjust your own detent. Makes things easier. Obviously, you've got your external stop pins. That's, super Medford thing. Now, your body screws are T8s. I'm able to do mine with a T8. You could push a T9 in there, but a T8 is what was working best. T8 and T30. Disassembly on these is always super simple. They do use a lot of Loctite on these screws, though. And I had issues after I took it apart. I had to re-Loctite them. They really wanted to work their way out. Not sure why that was. I don't know. It seems to be a thing, but they seem to use a lot of Loctite on all of their stuff, just in my experience with disassembly. So overall, absolutely loving this knife. It's definitely up there. This one came in, these start at 500. This one came in at 635. So it's on the higher end for a slim midi. Kind of optioned out, except for a pattern on the scale, which I'm not always huge on. I do like it some, but I really like this faced scale. It kind of gives you that like mirror finish. Ergos here, really, really comfortable. Obviously super thin. Being left-handed, the clip's never a problem for me as far as being in a hot spot, but right-handed, this thing is, it's like there is no clip. There is no hot spot, and I absolutely love it. Now, The infraction has the same sort of clip, same exact thing, no hot spot. Super impressive with these clips. It just molds right into the hand. So the ergos here are fantastic. Now the only thing is where there's really no indication of where you're at, there's no finger cutouts, you're kind of just on it and you're not sure where you're at. The finger choil, the way they angled this cut all the way out, let me try to show you on like my hinderer because I've noticed it. You see when this comes up at the end there, the blade itself comes out at 90 degrees on the edge of that bevel. See how it comes straight up? Now look here. It's cut at an angle, the same angle the choil is. You see the difference? See what I'm saying there? So what that does is you've got a really sharp point right here. And on this choil, it's a good sized choil, but I can still feel it pretty often, and you got to be wary of that. Here, where they've put that at an angle, absolutely no corner there. You can even get up on the blade and you still really don't feel it. So super smooth on the ergos. And on this knife, I don't know, it's just the attention to detail here. I feel like somebody really took their time and made a very nice knife here. This is the S35VN model. You can tell that by the S. Medford likes to use codes for whatever reason. Like you can see on my Praetorian T, they put a 9 for S90V, which makes sense. And I really dig the DLT exclusive stuff in S90V. So that's a very nice steel. And but Medford historically does really good on their heat treats. They get really good hardness out of the steels they use. So I feel like they really utilize these steels to the max, which you definitely got to appreciate. Like I said, the way Medford, from what I can tell, the way it had been ran for a while, it was kind of like a high volume custom shop. And just with the amount of craftsmanship, you know, they hand grind these bevels and stuff. Just really impressive. You know, you got a lot of guys doing a lot of labor going into these knives and watching some of his processes in the factory. It makes you really take pride in that. And especially, this is something I really want to point out. Look at the actual bevel on this knife, how straight that is. Just absolutely laser straight. The grind line right here is beautiful. I mean, that's the best bevel slash edge, best looking on any knife I have. Just how crisp it is, and I'm trying to think of words to describe this. I'm having trouble coming up with a good way to describe this. It's just like a laser straight. The lines are just perfect on it, and these grind lines flowing into it, just really nice. You know, it is a smaller, thinner knife for that amount of money, but I definitely don't feel like I'm getting less here. Quick cut test, see how sharp it came. Oh yeah, that nice hollow grind, pretty good slicer, plenty sharp for me. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with the sharpness of any of the three of my Medfords. The only knife I ever had come that I was like, what the hell is this? Was my damn hinderer, my XM18, came borderline dull. Like, not even kidding, man. Like, just would not even cut paper. Not in the slightest. Just ripped through it. You couldn't even stab it in and cut paper like this. You know, the way you try to cut paper when you can't cut it the right way. You're like, oh, it'll cut paper like this. Wouldn't even do it like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. But, anyways, so overall, very nicely done knife. If you wanted to carry this thing would be an EDC beast, especially in the right pocket. With that clip, the ergos they're there. Now, one thing I will point out, there is not a cut of jimping on this entire knife. It is baby bottom smooth all the way around. But where they've got a pretty neutral edge there, and just the in-hand feel, it's really good. So guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Infraction video coming soon. All right, I appreciate it, and y'all have a great day.